Please rise.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll now call the Wheeling City Council meeting of June 17 to order, please. And we'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Mr. Asaro.
Here.
Ms. Kane. Mayor Magruder.
Here.
Mr. Palmer. Mr. Seidler.
Here.
Mr. Sklavonakis.
Here.
And Mr. Thorngate.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Thank you. We have the June 3, 2025 minutes before us. Is there a motion?
I would motion to accept those minutes as received.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion, changes? If not, I ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's approved.
And could I motion to exit the regular order of business to conduct a public hearing? Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table to exit business. Is there any discussion? If not, I ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? And so we're going to enter executive session, the public session, hearing session. We have a public hearing first on Articles 787, 720, and 701. And I'd ask Mr. Herron perhaps to comment.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. These are changes to our B&O tax code that are reflective of changes that were made during the last legislative session, mainly dealing with businesses that have under $25,000 worth of sales. This is going to have a fiscal impact on the city. During the legislative session, we analyzed that impact, and at the time it was around $200,000. So negatively, yes, and that was communicated to our legislators. So we're aware of this, but it did pass, and now, in order to be in compliance with the new legislation, the city's ordinances have to be amended to be in compliance.
Question. Require a budget amendment as well, Mr. Herron.
It will eventually during the next fiscal year.
Thank you. Any other discussion? We have no public speakers signed up for this session, so I declare that this public hearing is closed. And we have another public hearing here for the CBDG fiscal year 25-26 annual action plan and the 5-year consolidating plan. Again, I'd ask Mr. Herron and maybe Nancy to comment.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is the annual CDBG entitlement budget, which is a little bit over $1.1 million, just under 1.2 million. It does include the public service agencies that have traditionally been serviced in the past, as well as public projects. The biggest item here is the Section 108 loan that City Council approved a couple of months ago. Even though that loan has not been finalized at this point, we do anticipate it will be for the 1400 block of Market Street. That project is still very active, and a contribution to that loan is included in this budget.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Again, no speakers have signed up for this hearing, so we declare this hearing closed. Have a motion, please, to return to regular session.
I will motion to resume the regular order of business.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's approved, and we return to regular session. Mayor's report. Number one, I think everybody knows that this has been an extremely tragic week for our community and for our neighbors in Valley Grove and Triadelphia. We just want everyone to know that City Council and the city staff's thoughts and prayers are with all of those families who had loved ones that were lost, who've lost property, or who have otherwise been affected. We want to make a very huge thanks to the first responders. And I see two of our assistant chiefs are present today. Can't say enough to both of you gentlemen for what your forces have done, but also for the Ohio County people. We've also had support from Marshall County and from some other areas, but we knew our first responders were good. They're great. And again, we can't thank you enough because, you know, we've had a significant loss of life. Without those first responders, it would have been much greater. So our deepest thanks to all of you for that. Also, I think on behalf of council, I want to make a huge thanks to city staff, to Mr. Herron, Mr. Lanham, to all the people, operations. Those folks have all been out there working too all weekend. And so, Mr. Herron, thanks to you and the staff for the amazing job that you all have done. And then thanks to the Army, and I mean, it's an army of volunteers. It's really unbelievable what's going on out there. I've had the opportunity the last couple of days to see America at its best, to see that happening. If you go out to the Army right now, there's probably 150, 200 volunteers, amazingly organized, receiving products. There's truck after truck and car after car flowing in there to donate items, but then they're organized to distribute them. I've been out to the respects. Assistant Chief Derrick was out there at the command center, and you've witnessed some of that going on there. I know when they opened up the shelters at Elm Grove Elementary School, it's just unbelievable. I don't think we can put into words what these volunteers have done the last 2 days. And I only hope that they continue, because for those people who've been affected, this recovery period is not short. It won't end this week or next month. So I would ask those volunteers to consider, if they would, continue their services. But a tremendous thank you to them. Just on another note, I want to make sure that people know one of the things that we can't get the word out enough is about the individual assessment damage survey. For anyone that was impacted, any property, any automobile, anything that was damaged, lost, please complete this survey. There are some forms on the table next to our friend from Eric from the press. But to complete the survey, you can scan the QR code. And listen, some of the folks out there in the affected area are like me. You're technologically challenged. I would be, all right? I'm not going to lie to you. So I will tell you that there are people that are going to be knocking on doors. They're going to be in the neighborhoods. They're going to be helping people with their iPads. There's also a website here. The website for those that have access is emd.wv.gov/disaster survey. This is most important. I think they've been trying to drive this home at every press conference, but in order for us to get an assessment of all the damage, in order for us to get possible assistance from the federal government, we need to complete these forms and to get it done as quickly as possible. And I'd ask Assistant Chief Jameson, is there anything else that you would like to say in regards to that? Oh, absolutely.
But it's so once the law considers that something that needs please. You know, call 1.
Thank you, Mr. Assistant Saunders. Thank you much. Mr. Herron, you have a comment on that you'd like?
Yes. So when FEMA considers whether or not there's a federal disaster area, there's a lot of criteria that go into that, one of which are these damage surveys and the extent of the damage that has occurred, which we know is widespread, but that all needs to be documented. We're very fortunate, and we do have political support for such a designation. Senator Capito's office has reached out and is supportive. Congressman Moore was here yesterday. Senator Justice's office has also reached out. And of course, Governor Morrissey has been here, and he made his declaration very quickly. So all that will be put together and submitted to the governor's office through the state emergency management agency, packaged up and then sent to the president for consideration of a federal disaster area. So there's time to do it, but hopefully people can get those done and get them done as quickly as possible so we can get that packaged up and hopefully get that designation that unfortunately we deserve. So thank you.
Thank you. And my final remark is I'd just like to say that thank you all to everybody. You make me so proud to be your mayor, most of all to be a member of this community. The community's been exemplary. And if the nation could only get a real look at what's happening here as a model, it would just be outstanding. So with that, I'll conclude the mayor's report and ask to move to the clerk's report.
There is no clerk's report this evening.
Thank you. Unfinished business.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $148,533.76 with Semper Fi paving of Bridgeport, Ohio for the 2025 street reconstruction to be charged to CBDG.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to say that I know the Semper Fi group is fairly new to some of our bigger street paving projects. The projects they've done on the island so far have been fantastic, and I'm just really been impressed with the with the service they provided. Not that we're not impressed with all of them so far, but I know this was their first big round with us, and it looks great to me, especially at the North Wabash Street. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I reiterate the quality of the work from them in Ward 1 was excellent.
Very good. Any further discussion? Thank you again. Further discussion? If not, I'm going to ask you please record your votes.
It's not working.
Okay, but Mr. Acero, can I get an affirmation from you that you
Yeah.
agree?
Approved.
Motion's approved.
Excuse me. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $39,600 with Atlas Environmental Management of Youngstown, Ohio for painting of flood damaged walls to be charged to Water Pollution Control Division.
I'd move to adopt the ordinance.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I would again ask you to please record your votes.
And I'll just have to do this verbally since my vote's broken.
Yeah, I would just ask you then to do it verbally, and motion's approved. Thank you.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $66,004.79 with Faro Technologies, Inc. of Lake Mary, Florida for Focus Core 100 laser scanner to be charged as follows: $30,000 to RCIP and $36,004.79 to federal asset forfeiture.
Move for adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
Do we have any discussion? Please record your vote. Mr. Acero?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion approved.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $498,000 with Reclaim Company LLC of Fairmont, West Virginia for abatement of Clay School to be charged as follows: $374,375.96 to EPA grant and $123,624.04 to regular RCIP.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none again, please record your votes. And Mr. Acero?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion approved.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $193,000 with Edgeco of Lansing, Ohio for abatement and demolition contract 9 to be charged to ARPA.
A motion to approve the ordinance?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I'll just say these guys do a fantastic job also.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Again, hearing none, please record your vote. And Mr. Acero?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion approved.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $160,235.70 with Miller Pipeline LLC of Indianapolis, Indiana for retiring 237 services throughout the city to be charged to Water Department.
Adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Again, please record your votes. Mr. Acero?
Yes.
Motion approved. Thank you.
Mayor, I would move to consolidate chemical readings number 7 through 15.
Okay, is there any discussion on that? If not, I'd ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We will consolidate those next readings.
Ordinances authorizing the city manager to expend funds for the purchase of routine chemicals to be charged to water as follows. $19,170 with Barber's Chemicals for sodium bisulfite, $67,986 with Sterling Water Technologies for phosphite liquid corrosion inhibitor, $17,400 with Univar Solutions for hydrofluosilicic acid, $115,500 with Bonded Chemical Inc. for sodium hypochlorite, $66,240 with Bonded Chemical Inc. for potassium permanganate, $32,178 with Univar Solutions for sodium hydroxide 25%, $125,450 with PVS Technologies for ferric chloride, $60,000 with Carbon Activated Corporation for powdered activated carbon, and $56,232 with Citco for citric acid.
I would move to adopt ordinances number 7 through 15.
Second.
Yes.
Just for consolidation.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Wheeling, amending and reenacting Articles 787, 701, and 720 to update said code and establish exemptions from licensing and tax requirements for certain business as required by 2025 House Bill 2451.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
I'll second.
Is there any questions or any discussion regarding that? Again, hearing none, please record your votes. Mr. Sarah?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion approved.
And that concludes unfinished business.
Thank you very much. With that, we're going to move to report from members of council. And we're going to start tonight with Councilman Palmer. He's not here, but he has asked me to represent him this evening. So Dave is right now on family vacation, but he has been in contact with all the Elm Grove businesses and the business association and staying in contact with the developing story. He just wanted everybody to know that. He sends his gratitude to the first responders and everyone that has helped in any way with this horrific event. He says, Tammy and I are heartbroken, and you're all in our thoughts and prayers. So in spirit, Dave is with us tonight. He also wanted me to comment that the Ward 6 Crime Watch meeting scheduled for June 18 has been canceled. So with that having been done, we're going to move to my far right to Councilor Cerro to continue Councilman's comments.
Likewise, I would like to thank all the first responders and the city and county workers who have been out there since this began. They've been going above and beyond. And my condolences to everyone who suffered losses during this tragic weekend.
Yeah, I would echo the same sentiments. I've lived in a flood zone my entire life, and I've never seen anything like this. It's completely unprecedented, and my heart just breaks for the families that have, lost their family members and lost their property, and just the trauma and devastation they've been through. Incredibly grateful for our first responders, and just really blown away, as always, by the outpouring of support from our community members, whether it's donations or volunteering their time or just their words and being there. I'm just really absolutely blown away.
We'll get through this and continue to pray for everyone that's out there on their job and in a community. Also, Juneteenth. Next year we'll get it back again. But we will get through.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to express my sincere condolences to everyone who has lost a family member or friend through these tragedies. As we've heard, this is the largest mass casualty event in Ohio County history. It's a somber moment in our history. And I think the mayor and everyone else has hit on it very well. Our first responders have done their job, and they've done their job well. And I think the outpour of our community, and not only providing donations, but providing their times and talents to help the other members of our community, is very impressive. I think, as the mayor said, I think that this is an unfortunate incident, but it shows that we are a resilient community that sticks up for each other and looks out for each other. And I know that we're going to get through this. I know that, when this happened, I walked down my street and I was right there on Bethany Pike Route 88, and I got to see the waters come down and go down, come up and go down. And it was, it's just hard to describe in words. The videos, I don't think, do it justice as well. The sounds and the sights that we saw from that evening are something I know a lot of people will never forget. But I think the most, somber thing is the loss of life. And it just puts it all in perspective. It really does. And it puts into perspective what kind of great community we have here. And I know that we're going to get through this. And I'd like to thank not only the first responders for doing what they trained to do, but also city staff. I mean, I went out and I saw them with backhoes and equipment trying to clear our creeks and streams to ensure that the water that's still coming, the rain that's still coming, doesn't create any kind of worse travesty. So I'd like to thank our community for what they've done, and wish my condolences to everyone who's been affected. Thank you.
Councilor Thornhill.
Yeah, the same thing. I just want to thank our first responders. As the son and a brother of first responders, these guys are true heroes, and I know everything they have to go through. Thinking about Saturday, as the creek was rising behind my house, I ran away. And these guys run right towards fear every single time, no matter what, just to save a life. So again, thank you guys so much. As Jerry said, some of the sights and sounds that I heard Saturday, I never want to experience again. And I can only imagine. I'm 4 or 5 miles away from where this took place. So, truly scary. I can only imagine what those people went through watching, their neighbors and their own house go down. But one thing I want to stress, I know there's a ton of people helping and giving donations right now, but I drove by today helping deliver some meals, and this isn't going to end soon. These people are going to be fighting and trying to survive for months or even years. I can't imagine how difficult it's going to be to rebuild some of the infrastructure out there. So I want to challenge people to stay on this and don't just quit in the next couple of weeks, as maybe some of the news stories wind down. Where these people are going to need our help for a long time. So please do what you can.
Report of the committees, and I do have minutes from the Finance Committee minutes from June 3, 2025. Is there a motion to accept those?
I'll move to accept as received.
Are there any changes, additions, or deletions? If not, I ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion approved. And next we have the report of the city manager. So I ask Mr. Herron, please, to take over.
Thank you, Mayor. I also wanted to comment on the response from the City of Wheeling to Saturday night, Sunday. I was very proud of our police and fire department, the way they reacted to the incident or to the flooding. Our fire department coordinated the search and rescue efforts for the entire area, including departments outside of the city, coordinated those departments that were coming in. Just very proud of the way they conducted themselves. The police department was right on the scene and making sure that people didn't drive into the floodwaters. And then, of course, our operations department has already begun the cleanup efforts, and they're working hard and will be for the next several days to get all the mud and cleaned up within the city limits. But of the vast majority of the damage and worst damage was clearly in Valley Grove and Triadelphia. Those communities aren't as well equipped to handle this type of thing as what the city of Wheeling is. So as Councilman Thorngate indicated, people are really going to have to keep them in mind, because they are going to need help, not only because they're going to need it, but because they were really, really devastated, as we all know, by the floodwaters. So the community support has been extraordinary. I was around for the 2004 flood, which was significantly more widespread. There was community support for that, but this has really been focused. And I think that this community as a whole, the greater Wheeling area, will benefit from that, and it will make the recovery hopefully a little bit less painful than what it's already going to be. So thank you to everyone who's been involved from the community to other first responders who have come in to the Department of Highways, the Army Corps of Engineers, the National Guard, the governor, everybody who's offered to help. And it will pay dividends as we move forward with the cleanup. So thank you. I also wanted to report that Heritage Port, we've been working on converting the downtown lights from the high-pressure sodium lights in the streetscape area to LED lights. That is underway and is almost completed. But also part of that project was to convert the high-pressure sodium bulb round lights that were at Heritage Port into LED lights. I'm happy to report that that project is almost completed. I think the lights are in. There's some wiring issues that came up last night. But if you get a chance, take a look at Heritage Port at night, and I think you'll be surprised at the difference that the light going from the high pressure sodium light to LED lights has in that area. It's actually it's absolutely spectacular. So thank you to AEP for doing that. We kind of looked at that last year, and it's taken some time to get the lights in, and there's been some improvements that needed to be made underground to do that. That project is nearly completed. Under original propositions this evening, item number 2 is Ohio West Virginia excavating for the Grandview slip repair. There's some issues with steel and tariffs associated with that and pricing. And to get that project moving, I would respectfully request that City Council consider 2 readings on that ordinance this evening so that we can get that contract signed yet today before I leave. And then also at the end of the meeting, I would respectfully request that City Council consider an executive session to discuss property acquisition. Mayor, that's my report.
Mr. Herron, did AEP, were you able to have any conversations with AEP about doing an inventory of their other lights in the community that are out?
Yes, I did. I actually spoke to their government affairs representative late last week. Obviously with things that have happened, AEP has had their hands full, but they are actually going to do a nighttime drive-through. Identified areas on the island as priorities, as well as Warwood and East Wheeling. So they are going to actually physically go out, ride around, and figure out what lights are out. And if there's areas like entire blocks, like I know exist on the island, they're going to figure out what's going on there as well. So yes, that will be done here in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Herron. Now we move to report of other officers, and we do have a couple sets of minutes here. The Planning Commission meeting minutes from May 12 of 2025, and the Planning Commission report to Council from June 9 of 2025. Is there a motion to hold those over?
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion's approved, and those minutes will be held over. Petitions of redress or grievance.
There are none.
Petitions of all other kinds.
There are none.
Original propositions.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $27,000 with Centrus of Kenosha, Wisconsin for purchase of rental services for centrifuge to be charged to water pollution control. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $288,455 with Ohio West Virginia Excavating of Powhatan Point, Ohio for Grandview slip repair to be charged to CDBG fiscal year 2024.
I would move for a second reading to expedite the work.
A second.
Is there any discussion on that? If not, all those in favor of a second reading signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And we'll have a second reading now.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $288,455 with Ohio West Virginia Excavating of Powhatan Point, Ohio for Grandview slip repair to be charged to CDBG fiscal year 2024.
I would move to adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to ask you to please record your votes. Mr. Acero?
Yes.
Motion approved.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $70,000 with Wheeling Symphony of Wheeling, West Virginia for city share of firework display, $35,000 to be charged to city manager, $25,000 charged to Cole Severance, and $10,000 to the general fund. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $253,184 to Polydyne Inc. of Raceboro, Georgia for the purchase of polymer to be charged to Water Pollution Control Division. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $46,250 with PBS Knollwood of Weirton, West Virginia for the purchase of sodium bisulfite to be charged to Water Pollution Control Division. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $46,250. Oh, excuse me, that was a duplicate there. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $16,500 with Northern Panhandle Conservation District of McMecken, West Virginia for the purchase of fiscal year 2026 operation and maintenance funds for Wheeling Creek structure, $15,000 to be charged to capital contributions, and $1,500 to coal severance. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $36,021 with Mid-Atlantic Storage Systems, Inc. of Washington Courthouse, Ohio, for Mount Wood Water Tank Number 2 and Clater Water Tank maintenance to be charged to the Water Department. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $44,508 with Mid-Atlantic Storage Systems, Inc. of Washington Courthouse, Ohio, for Mount Wood Water Tank Number 1 and Number 3 maintenance to be charged to the Water Department. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $34,800 to Waller Corporation of Washington, Pennsylvania for extension to contract for exterior door and concrete pad at the Wheeling Police Department to be charged to the city service fee. An ordinance authorizing the design, acquisition, and construction of improvements and extensions to the sewerage portion of the existing public combined waterworks and sewerage system and temporarily financing of the cost thereof, not otherwise provided, and paying cost of issuance and related costs through the issuance of the combined waterworks and sewerage system bond anticipation note series 2025 of the city of Wheeling in the aggregate principal amount of not more than $6 million, providing for the rights and remedies of and the security for the registered owner of such notes, authorizing the execution and delivery of a tax certificate, request for proposals, and other documents, authorizing the sale and providing for the terms and provisions of such notes, and adopting other provisions relating thereto. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $21,630 with Safeware, Inc. of Lanham, Maryland for helmets, face shields, and helmet bags for police department to be charged to the 2022 JAG grant and the police department. An ordinance to amend and reenact Article 903.09 entitled Private Outdoor Designated Areas in the city of Wheeling, West Virginia to amend operating times on Fridays. And a resolution of the Council of the City of Wheeling authorizing a budget revision to the fiscal year 2021, 2022, and 2023 home program for the Northern Panhandle Home Consortium.
A second.
Is there any discussion? If not, I'd ask all those in favor to please record your votes. Counselor Sarah.
Yes.
Motion approved.
And that concludes original propositions.
Thank you. We're now to that point in the meeting where we ask those wishing to be heard, and tonight we have one, Kelly Ahmad. Kelly, I do need to remind you, how about name, address, and 3 minutes? Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Kelly White, legally Ahmad. I live at 214 East Clifton Road. I'm here in my capacity as the events committee chair and this year's event coordinator for the Pride on the Plaza Festival with the Friendlier City Project. We are a local 501c3 LGBTQ nonprofit serving Wheeling. I wanted to personally thank the city for their hand in making our third annual event a huge success. Our mission at the Friendlier City Project is to help Wheeling be a better, friendlier place, and hosting the annual Pride Festival helps us accomplish this goal. On Saturday, we saw thousands of people enjoy music, art, culture, and their community. We hosted over 40 food and art vendors and 20 plus community tables. Heritageport was a perfect location for our ever-growing event, and the city employees who assisted in the setup beforehand and during the day of the event helped ensure that it ran smoothly. Oftentimes, LGBTQ people are told that Pride is really not that important. Essentially, that June is kind of overblown and that we should probably just sit down and shut up. But a couple of years ago, I was down at Heritageport holding hands with my girlfriend, and some teenagers made some homophobic remarks and spit at us. So I just want to make it clear that Pride is important, not just to the people in the LGBTQ community, but all of Wheeling. And I think their family members and our community members really appreciate it. Unfortunately, as our festival wrapped up, the floods hit, and I don't think any of us really understood what was happening. The Wheeling PD was phenomenal. They checked in with us and they said, there are cars in the creek. We don't really know what that means. And we said, please go, do what you need to. So ultimately, they were serving in both capacities. And for that, we're really appreciative. Again, I want to thank the City of Wheeling. I want to thank the Parks and Recreation Department, John Banco, very specifically, the city electricians, and the city's Water Pollution Control Division. Thank you for assisting us in our continuing efforts to make the friendly city even friendlier.
Thank you, Kelly. I'm going to ask for a motion, please, to go into executive session as requested by City Manager Herron.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
We have a motion on the table to go to executive session. Is any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, we'll go to executive session now.